Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an incredible story like this. Isabella looked out over the horizon, her fingers lightly grazing the delicate lace of her wedding gown. The sun was setting, casting hues of pink and gold over the private island that had become the venue for her dream wedding. The Velvet Oaks Hotel loomed behind her, a towering structure with sweeping glass, windows that reflected the light like an ethereal palace. Her bridesmaids were all getting ready inside, but Izzy needed a moment alone. She felt the weight of the day pressing down on her. Her fiancé, Daniel, had always been the perfect gentleman, and their relationship had felt like a fairy tale. They had met 5 years ago during a chance encounter at a charity event, and from that moment on, their lives seemed to intertwine effortlessly. But something was off today. There was a chill in the air, an unease that gnawed at her stomach. Maybe it was the pressure of the perfect wedding, or maybe it was because, deep down, she knew something wasn't right. Her thoughts were interrupted by a soft voice. "Is everything okay, Izzy?" Chloe, her best friend and maid of honor, stepped up beside her, looking concerned. Izzy forced a smile. "Of course. Just needed a breath of fresh air before the madness begins." She glanced over at the hotel. "Everything's going according to plan, right?" Chloe hesitated, her eyes flickering with something unreadable. "Of course, but are you sure about this? About Daniel?" Izzy frowned. "What do you mean?" Chloe's gaze shifted, clearly unsure whether to speak further. "It's just, I don't know. I've been feeling strange about him lately. I'm just worried." Izzy rolled her eyes, trying to laugh it off. "You're always the worrywart, Chloe. Daniel's perfect." "I'm sure of it." But Chloe didn't look convinced. "Okay, but I need you to promise me something. If anything feels wrong today, you'll stop the wedding. Don't let it go on if you have doubts. You deserve to be happy, Izzy." Izzy's heart skipped a beat. She had always trusted Chloe, but this was the kind of talk she hadn't expected. She laughed nervously. "Don't be ridiculous. Today's supposed to be perfect. I'm not going to let anything ruin it." As Chloe left her side to head back to the bridal suite, Izzy felt a deep pang in her chest. Was she ignoring something? Was she really sure about Daniel? She shook the thought away. The ceremony was moments away, and nothing could ruin this day. The ceremony was flawless, or so it seemed. As Izzy walked down the aisle, her heart soared with happiness. Daniel stood at the altar, his handsome face framed by the lush greenery surrounding the wedding venue. His smile was dazzling, and she couldn't help but feel like the luckiest woman alive. But then, just as the officiant began the vows, Izzy's gaze shifted across the crowd. A figure near the back caught her eye, a woman with striking features, wearing a deep red dress that clashed with the theme of the wedding. Izzy's breath hitched in her throat. It was Eva, the woman Daniel had mentioned in passing during their early days together. She had been his friend, someone he spoke about with a strange mix of affection and secrecy. Izzy had never liked the sound of it, but Daniel had always reassured her that Eva was nothing more than a distant part of his past. Now, Eva was here, her eyes locked on Daniel in a way that made Izzy's blood run cold. The ceremony continued, but Izzy's focus was entirely on Eva. What was she doing here? Why had Daniel invited her to their wedding? As the vows were exchanged and the ring slid onto Izzy's finger, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. She tried to ignore it, telling herself that Eva was just a guest. But every part of her screamed that she needed to confront this. Later that night, as the guests danced and celebrated, Izzy couldn't take it any longer. She slipped away from the crowd and headed toward the secluded part of the hotel, where she knew Daniel had been talking to a few old friends. She found him in the corner of the lobby, laughing with Ethan, an old college buddy. But as she approached, she overheard a conversation that made her blood run cold. "I can't believe you invited her," Ethan was saying. "You know what it'll do to Izzy if she finds out." Daniel chuckled, though there was no warmth in it. "She'd never know. It's all in the past. Besides, Ava's been a part of my life longer than Izzy. She deserves to be here." Izzy's heart pounded in her chest. Who was Eva to Daniel? Why was he talking about her like this? She stepped forward, her voice shaking with anger. "What's going on, Daniel? Who is Eva, really?" Daniel froze, his eyes widening as he turned to face her. The tension between them was palpable. "It's not what you think, Izzy," he said, his tone defensive. "Then what is it, Daniel?" she demanded. "Why is she here? Why didn't you tell me about her?" Before he could answer, Chloe appeared at the other end of the hall. She looked around, clearly sensing the charged atmosphere. "Izzy, don't do this here. This isn't the time." But Izzy was beyond reason now. The doubts that had been quietly simmering inside her erupted into full-blown suspicion. "No, Chloe, this is exactly the time. I need to know the truth." The night was quickly spiraling out of control. The wedding that should have been the happiest day of her life had turned into a nightmare. Izzy was no longer the bride surrounded by love and joy. She was a woman betrayed, standing in the center of a storm. Daniel looked at her with wide eyes, his face flushed with panic. "Izzy, I never wanted to hurt you. Eva was someone from my past. We had an affair before we even met you. I didn't want you to know." The words hit Izzy like a punch to the stomach. "An affair? With her?" Her voice was barely above a whisper, trembling with the shock and betrayal. "And you've been hiding this from me? For how long?" Daniel stepped toward her, reaching out, but she pulled away. "You don't get to touch me right now. You lied to me, Daniel. All this time, you've been lying. Please, let's talk about this," Daniel pleaded, his voice desperate. But Izzy shook her head, her mind racing. She had seen the truth in his eyes. There was no denying it now. The man she had loved, the man she had trusted, had betrayed her in the worst way possible. "Take a step back, Daniel," Izzy said, her voice steady but cold. "I'm done. I'm done with all of this." With those words, she turned on her heel and walked away, leaving her wedding, her life, her future with Daniel behind her.